I've had a number of requests to do an Up theory, and I've had to psych myself up to work on this movie. I am such a crybaby! I cry during the montage of Carl and Ellie's life. I cry when Russell talks about trying to call his dad, but Phyllis says he bugs him too much. I cry when Carl looks through the scrapbook. I cry when Russell's at his Wilderness Explorer ceremony and his dad's not there. And I randomly cry throughout the movie while blubbering, Ellie would have loved this trip so much. This movie sucker punches me in the feels. Just stop it, Pixar. You're breaking my soul. I don't need to be this connected to imaginary cartoon characters. But because I love you guys and want to make you happy, I braved watching this movie again. And I cried like a baby the whole time. I did get a few ideas out of it though. Hopefully these are new ideas because I swear to you I don't have the heart to watch anyone else's Up theories. The first point I'd like to make is that Muntz didn't have to be a villain. He was in the Paradise Falls area to redeem his name and save his career. And I'm really not sure why he became a villain in that pursuit, or why Carl hesitated to tell him about Kevin. I mean, scoop up the bird and her babies and fly back to the US. These birds have to be incredibly endangered because they try to choke themselves to death every 10 minutes. So maybe this is a species that would fare better in a zoo. I mean, at least give humanity a chance to preserve these rare creatures that nature is killing off. Although, how is it that Muntz can train his dogs to crazy levels, but he somehow can't rig up a camera to take photos of Kevin? Remember, Muntz left the US around 1940. Carl is 78 in the film, which released in 2009, and he's roughly 9 when he watches the newsreel at the movie theater, making that year approximately 1940. That's well before Photoshop was invented, so if Muntz had come back a few years later with just some pictures of the rare birds, I don't think anyone would have doubted him back then. The only reason they doubt the skeleton is because they've never seen anything like it before. But let us talk about Muntz's technology. When the dogs start appearing in the film, it really stuck out to me that they all had different voices. Charles Muntz made the dogs colors that could translate their thoughts so that he could have someone else to talk to, but Muntz was an explorer, and these collars are some pretty next level scientific engineering. We don't even have them in the real world today. I know. It's an animated movie about a floating house, but we know that Carl was a balloon salesman at the zoo for decades, so theoretically, he could know how many balloons it would take to sail his house away. We have some context to make that idea work for us, but we have no reason to believe that Muntz was a brilliant scientist or engineering mastermind. And even if he was, how did he get all those different voices that he programmed into the collars? They don't have robotic voices, and they don't have Muntz's voice, so he had to capture those sounds somehow. For that matter, it also seems like all the dogs are male, which is obviously a problem since these are young dogs, and Muntz claims to be keeping away from civilization. Dogs live about 13 years on average, and Muntz has been living in his blimp for around 69 years. So, how is he getting new dogs? And when I saw the extent of the things the dogs can do, like critically think, cook, and even fly planes, it just felt like something was so off with these dogs compared to the rest of the movie. Even the smartest of dogs has an intelligence level comparable to a 3-year-old human child. And I don't know about you, but I would not let my toddler cook or fly a plane. But then the dinner scene with Muntz, Carl, and Russell made something clear. Muntz has seen quite a few visitors over the years. It's heavily implied that Muntz killed them all and saved their headgear as a trophy, but then he also uses those trophies on the dogs when they're pilots. Holy guacamole, were these dogs people? This seems like a giant stretch, I grant you, but looking around Muntz's blimp, he has all kinds of artifacts in there. What if Muntz owns something, a spellbook, a talisman, whatever, that can mutate people into subservient animals? Meaning the other explorers have been turned into dogs, but they're able to keep their mental processes as if they were human. That explains why the dogs are so intelligent, why they all have different voices, and how they can process doing so many impossible things. And before you take to the comments to correct me, Muntz didn't use that artifact on Carl or Russell because he was following them to get to Kevin. And then once he had the bird that he had waited so long to find, Muntz just left because he had other priorities at that point. During the commotion on the blimp, Muntz was caught so off guard and was so focused on showing that the birds were real that he just didn't get the mystical artifact out. There, I solved it all! Alright, that is a little far-fetched, even for me, but at the very least, I think that Muntz found a way to record the voice patterns of his victims to use in the collars. Although that still leaves a lot of open plot holes and begs the question, what happened to the bodies of all those explorers? Muntz did not want to be found. He didn't want to risk anyone coming in and stealing his glory, so he wouldn't have let anyone escape. Oh, Glob, was that what his food rations were made out of? Was he eating people? Nope, too dark, not going there. So I suppose instead that Muntz just threw people off the cliff, down the falls, which is not too far from the way that Muntz himself died. There's so much we'll never know about Muntz, so we might never be able to perfectly fill in these gaps. Yeah, I might be overthinking it, but that's literally my job. Well, that's all I have for now, but this video's not quite over yet. I get a lot of comments that say, do a theory on this topic, but I've already done those theories. So please consider going to my main channel page and clicking on the video tab so that way you can see everything I've done. You will probably find a lot of things you like that you never even knew that I posted. I want to let you know that I also have two other channels, Say Halo Goodbye Gaming and the Fanily Family Vlogs. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed enough to hit subscribe and share. I can use all the help I can get to let other people know that this channel exists. And if you made it this far, leave me a comment that says something like, hey, I made it to the end, and then let me know what kind of videos you want to see in the future. I can't make any promises, but the more people that request something, the more I can look into it. Okay, well, I love you. I'll see you in the next video.